grief and loss, trauma, mental health, alcohol and drug use, gender roles, anger management, self-esteem, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and the pressures of societal norms or real-life issues that affect men. Join Rolando, psychotherapist, author, life coach, and motivational speaker that has dedicated his profession to working with men to find a healthier alternative to cope and handle these stressors. Rolando believes that men are lacking in social, psychological, emotional, and spiritual support that is necessary for a lifestyle that promotes healthy masculinity. We invite you to join us on XY Spark, where we discuss issues that men face. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.
Hello, hello, good morning. How are you guys doing out there? This is your boy Rolando with XY Spark. I just wanted to stop and just to pause to reflect with you today. It's another beautiful day outside. It's March 24th, 2021. Yes, it's actually Wednesday, March 24th. We popularly refer to this as Hump Day. So it's Hump Day. And I do hope that so far your week has been going well. I do hope also that your family is keeping safe. For those of you who have already acquired your vaccine, kudos to you. For those who have not yet, we do hope that sometime later you will decide. And let's continue to practice safety as best we can as we continue to push back at this pandemic to seek to get to a safer spot. The Network is reporting that it's only a -7 outside. It's a cool -7, with wind chill taking it to around about -15. It promises to warm up a bit later today, but we are going to be having a bit of cloud coverage as we go on. If you're on your way to work, I do hope that you will get there safely. If you're just getting up, good morning and welcome. I hope that your rest was sweet and rejuvenating. We wanted to share with you this morning a thought here, a motivational thought. Believe it or not, it was Virginia Satir who said this, and I quote, "Life is not the way it's supposed to be, it's the way it is. The way you cope with it is what makes the difference." End quote. I'll read for you again. Virginia Satir said this: "Life is not the way it's supposed to be, it's the way it is. The way you cope with it is what makes the difference." End quote. You know, you, me, all of us, we have a certain measuring rod that we walk around with every single day. We all have this expectation that life is supposed to be a certain way. And the minute it's not going the way we think it should be going, we get all rattled up. We get discouraged. We lose our hope. We lose our faith. We get pessimistic. We complain. We get distracted with all the things that we cannot control. Our minds move us into a place of hopeless, helpless. We get sucked in by those around us who themselves are not thinking or able to see that there is anything to celebrate about life. And today I wanted to challenge that a little bit. I wanted to challenge that based on the content of this quote. Realistically speaking, you and I are not able to control all the things that are going to happen or that's going to come our way in this life. There are those days when our neighbor might be struggling with something, and then there are those days when we are going to be struggling with something. There are those days when our neighbor might have lost a loved one, and there are those days when we are going to lose a loved one. There are those days when our neighbor is going to experience something that is traumatic. Then there are those days when you or I are going to experience something that's traumatic. What I'm trying to say to us today is this, is that life is decorated with all different forms of disappointments and hassles and discouragements and obstacles in our way. Life by nature of being what it is going to be like that for us sometimes. But what we've got to capture is this, is it's all a part of what happens with life. In other words, it comes with the territory. But the beautiful thing about all of it, yes, the beautiful thing about all of it is that if you and I are in the right place, and if we are grounded enough, we can cope and come through it on the other side. That is positive and that's empowering. And so, what do we want to do? We want to start capturing the reality that whether we believe it or not, life is going to happen. And when life happens, what we need to learn to do is we need to happen with it. We need to recognize that amidst the storm, there is a eye where there's a calm. And we have to see how we can cope and become more and more and more victorious first in our minds as we recognize that life is just the way it's supposed to be. So now we've got to start learning how to cope. So you may be experiencing something that is hard in your relationship. Let's see if we can start learning how to cope better in that relationship. And so here's a big idea. Recognize the difference from the things that you can control and the things that you cannot. The more time you spend to focus on things that you cannot control, is the more defeated you're going to feel at the end of your day. But if you focus on the things that you can control, at the end of your day, you're going to feel less defeated because now you're going to be able to see the progression. You're going to be able to see some results. So life is not the way it's supposed to be, it's the way it is. So, what's happening in your life? It doesn't have to be because you did something wrong, because, yes, bad things do happen to good people. It's a part of life. And so, as you go off on your way today, I want you to think about this thought and I want you to repeat these words with me. From this day forward, when life happens, I'm determined to happen with it. From this day forward, when life happens, I'm determined to happen with it. In other words, you have got to be determined to not quit, to not give up, to not throw in the towel. You have got to recognize that as life is happening, it's my responsibility to happen with it. Do my part. Focus on what I can control. Regain my momentum. Regain my strength. Reevaluate my outlook so that I can grow. Thank you for joining us on XY Spark. This is your boy Rolando. I just want to say to you again, you go forth and conquer and be empowered as we continue to embrace the reality that there is a spark in you.
Please join Rolando next time on XY Spark as he engages us in practical discussions that promotes healthy masculinity and challenge men to live extraordinary lives. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.